the Radio Forest Podcast.
John, welcome, man. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm in Decatur, Illinois. We just did a show here last night. I have a day off, so I'm doing a full day of nothing but promotion. That's why we're here.
Yeah,
Talk
we're
about
talking.
a couple of wonderful things, Go ahead.
You want to talk about St. Jude's first? You want to talk about the new album?
Let's talk about St. Jude's first. That's really the most important part of this interview, to tell you the truth. Now, it's an idea. I've been part of supporting St. Jude's Hospital for decades. I've done a lot of events where I play celebrity golf matches, got up and played music with me and Alice Cooper and Kevin Cronin and Alec Lifeson, and a bunch of different people get up and try to raise money for St. Jude's. I've been part of it, but I went to Memphis and did a fundraiser there in Memphis for St. Jude. And they asked me, have you ever been to the hospital? And I went, no. So they scheduled me the next day to go over and take a tour of the hospital. And I walked through, and you could see these doctors and scientists developing chemicals and medicine that will save children's lives. And so this lady that was taking me on the tour was in her early 30s. I said, well, do they pay you well for doing this? She said, no, I donate my time. I said, wow, that's kind. She said, well, I was brought here as a child with cancer, and they saved my life. So she donated her time and took us around the hospital and really gave us a heart-to-heart explanation of what St. Jude's does. They saved, when they first started 60 years ago, the survival rate of children's cancer was 20%. Today, they've raised it to over 80%. So they are saving children's life. They want to take that last 20% and find the key to being able to save every child's life that comes to the hospital with cancer. When they first started, they had percentages of survival rate for children's lymphoma was 4% survival rate. They've got that up to 96% today. So the majority of kids that go in there with lymphoma stand a 96% chance of survival. They want to get that up to 100%. So the work is not finished yet, and they only get money from volunteers, contributions like this campaign. This Rock and Roll Retreat Sweepstakes is my effort to try to raise as much money as I can for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Now, 100% of every dime that's contributed and donated goes directly to St. Jude's. There's nobody in the way that's taken a little administration fee, nothing. It goes right to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And the sweepstakes package is amazing. You get to win round-trip airfare from anywhere in the United States for two people to Nashville, Tennessee. When you get to Nashville, Tennessee, you're going to get 3-night stay in the largest suite I think I've ever stayed in, called the Broadway Suite in Nashville. You use your Waze to find your way around this suite. It's so big. Where's the bedroom? Oh, here, follow this down the hallway. It's a huge suite. I've stayed there myself. It's amazing. And really great of Weston to donate that suite for us for those 3 days. You're going to win a white double neck 1275 guitar, just like I play on Hotel California. And you're going to get a tour of the Gibson Garage, which is right next door to the Westin Hotel. Now, that includes a trip down into their basement, into the legendary vault, the Gibson vault of their historic guitars. It's the first Les Paul that Les Paul ever developed, the first acoustic guitar that Gibson ever put out, the first Explorer guitar, the first Firebird, all these legendary rock guitars. Now, you're going to get to go into this vault, and it's got a big lock on it, and it opens up like a bank vault, and you walk into it. We're going to take out some of those guitars and do a little picking and grinning, and who knows, I'll play with you a little bit. The next day, we're going to go back to the Gibson Garage, and I'm going to do a showcase there where I'll be speaking and performing and playing 4 or 5 songs on my Gibson guitars and explaining why I use a white double neck guitar, a Gibson double neck, to be able to play Hotel California every single night. You're going to get a one-on-one guitar lesson from me. Now, I was teaching guitar back in high school, and one of my students, I taught a couple of guitar lessons too, and a couple of little piano lessons at his house, was a young kid named Little Tommy Petty.
Yeah.
He went on to be an incredible career. He wanted to learn to play guitar so he could write songs. He was playing bass in this horrible band called the Epics at the time, and he wanted to write songs. You can't write songs on a bass. Now, Paul McCartney might disagree with you on that one, but
Yeah.
he wanted to play guitar so he could write songs. So I taught him a couple of lessons. Went on to have an amazing career. Who knew? Who knows? You might get a lesson from me there at the Gibson garage and have an amazing musical career yourself. So anyway, you got to get that. You get a couple of tickets. We're going to go to the Musicians Hall of Fame. I'm on the exhibit there. I was inducted years ago. So we'll take you through the Musicians Hall of Fame. You can see all the legendary Nashville and rock musicians that have been inducted into that. Peter Frampton, myself, a ton of people. We'll go through there. So to enter in this sweepstakes, you go to donfelder.com/contest. That's donfelder.com/contest, and it'll take you right to the site where it'll have all the details of the all the goodies that you're going to win when you win, and how to make a donation. For every $50 that you donate, you get one ticket. So you donate $100, you get two tickets. Donate $200, you get four tickets. The more you donate, the better your chances are of winning. But the idea is to be able to donate money to save children's lives. We have that last 4% of lymphoma we got to figure out, and the last 20% of all the other cancers that they have yet to be able to figure out how to treat those to save those kids' lives. That's what this is for. How to save children's lives.
Now, Tom Petty at your high school, but he's not the only rock and roll star along with you to come out of Gainesville. Who else was in your school and pretty close to your age too? You got two other big stars, right?
Yeah, well, Stephen Stills and I had a band when we were 14. My mom would drive us around to little women's tea parties and would sit in the corner with two acoustic guitars and play guitars and sing songs for them. And then we had a rock band called the Continentals. And Stephen was in that band with me for about a year, his senior year. And then when he graduated from high school, he took off and moved to California. And see you later, and she's gone. And within 2 weeks of his departure, Bernie Leadon showed up and replaced Stephen Stills in the Continentals. We changed the name in 1965 to the Mondi Quintet, which was all part of the English British invasion. We wanted to have a name that sounded more English, like the Mondi Quintet. So Bernie and I had that band together, and then Tom Petty was a freshman in high school. So in the same high school at the same time, we had Petty, Bernie Leadon, myself, and Stephen Stills. And we all knew each other, played together. I gave Petty lessons. I was taught slide by Dwayne Allman over in Daytona Beach. We became friends when he was there during the summer, staying in his mom's house. And just between Leonard Skinner being in Jacksonville, the Allman Brothers in Daytona Beach, and me and Stills and Leadon and Petty in Gainesville, that little magic triangle, people said, what was it? Was it something in the water? And I said, no, maybe it was something in what we were smoking. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
went on to be pretty successful.
Well, it's Don Felder, legendary guitarist from the Eagles Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, member since 1998. He's got his album out, Don Felder, The Vault, 50 Years of Music is out now. Talking about slide, he's got the song Move On, started his Slide On. Plus, we've got the Rock and Roll Retreat Sweepstakes at his website, donfelder.com/contest. Don, man, it's been a pleasure to talk to you today, dude. I appreciate all the answers and the cool stories.
Thank you so much. Please come out to a show if we come near you guys, and come backstage and say hello. Let me shake your hand, and thank you for taking the time to do this. I truly appreciate it. Don't forget St. Jude's. We got to push St. Jude's. Got work to do.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate it.
Thanks. All right, man. Bye-bye.